Clive. Hell yeah. Come on in here, chat room. Live on the porch. Mm, Make better sound. I didn't realize these AirPod Max headphones, when I have the ambient sound open, you niggas hear it. I thought only I heard it. When I turn the sound off, y'all don't hear it. So I didn't know that. What's up, Golden Gold? Come on in the chat room, y'all. Come on in the chat room. And make sure y'all share this. I'm on late, so people probably ain't getting notifications or they sleep. So share this shit. Matter of fact, I'm about to share to Facebook. So if it go blank for like 10 seconds, that's only because I'm hitting the share button to share this to my motherfucking Facebook. Frozen. What's up, Breeze? What's up, Maryland? Deli Dell. Are you just now getting to work? Shit. Where are you? Are you? What time zone are you in, Deli Dell? Hmm. Comedy Chateau, April 29th. What's up, the Atavis? Comedy Chateau, April 29th. Me, Larry, Freeze Love, Wanda White, Al Green. This shit gonna be dope. And then we have May 26th in Dallas. Oh, so you West Coast time. Oh, yeah, you better be working all goddamn night. Yeah, so I want y'all to get y'all tickets, get y'all t-shirts, all that shit. Appreciate y'all for joining the live. We're gonna talk today about the big picture. Looking at the big picture. And I got this thought earlier tonight when I was in Jess Eve's Twitter space. And salute to Jess Eve. Much honor to Jess Eve and her creation of New Black Media Appreciation Month. But in the space, we were talking about, the double standards that goes on, and we were talking about a lot of things. But I had thought about something just listening to someone in there speak about the big picture. What's up, BB Bolger? So, Breeze at 10 for a koofy. I've been looking at things big picture. And because, like, when we deal with what we deal with in day to day life, whether that be your job, um, challenges in life, personal dramas and traumas, in the context of the Twitter space we were in earlier, why am I having connection issues? Issues. What the fuck? What the fuck? Chat room, help me out. Let me know if y'all in there, chat room. I'm over here literally, my Wi-Fi is about 15 feet from where I'm sitting. Why the fuck am I having connection issues? But let me know if y'all still with me in the chat room. I don't know what the fuck going on in my goddamn comments. And I still can't read no comments. My last comment I got was at 10:44. And refresh twice? Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all refresh. I just got a comment from Adam. He said you had to refresh twice. So make sure y'all hit refresh. All right, cool. So what's up, Mark? But I was thinking, we deal with so much, personal problems and dramas We deal with the system we're in, we as black people, and what we're facing, what we go through. And oftentimes, our personal struggles, our family struggles, our social struggles can seem like it's really big. It's just a whole lot. And I was thinking, because when I was in bed earlier, I was talking, and it's too late now, but 2 hours ago, 3 hours, 2 hours ago, if you looked into the western sky, and if you're in Hawaii listening, you can still do it right now. If you look to the west, you can see Sirius, uh, the star Sirius. You can see the Pleiades star system, Mars, Venus, all like in the same eye shot. The Orion constellation, Gemini, Taurus, all of that stuff was just when I was out here earlier, when I was looking that way, all that stuff was just within one eye shot, like just looking in one direction in the sky. And that has got me thinking, like, man, this universe is so big, it's so massive. Where we live is so massive. There's so much going on. And but when you focus on your issues, when you focus on your problems, you can tend to make those issues and problems. You know what I mean? And those issues and problems can oftentimes seem way too big to face. So it's like when you're dealing with issues, you gotta sometimes learn how to take a step back and what's going on, big picture. And I don't know if my chat room's stopping again. This shit, I don't know. Let me know if I'm good in the chat room. I don't know. Whatever. This should been tripping the last couple of days. Anyway, um, you can tend to let this shit can really fuck your head up, and it can seem like it's far too big to deal with. And that's why, like, y'all see me. I got a studio in here in my spot, but I be sitting here. Uh, I be sitting here outside a lot. I'm always outside because it's like, man, this is some shit. I mean, we in a large, beautiful place, and when you keep your eyes focused on what's going on the internet and our day to day issues, and oh, why, man, that shit gets to be tired. You know what I mean? You got to step outside. You got to see the big picture and disconnect. So like, and I'm not good. I can't tell y'all what to do, but I, I get up in the morning, and man, when that sun is just get that energy, because this is like, that's for me personally, being someone who speaks against white supremacy the way I do, and speaking out against social ills and wrongs and all that the way I do. One thing that helps me is keep my mind fresh. I said fresh. One thing that helps me keep my mind fresh is just like s- spend a portion of my day every day disconnected from all this shit. And I mean every day. At least sometime throughout the day, this nature. You know what I mean? Be in nature. Like, let the grass grow. Like, another way that I'm starting to get warmer, put your feet in the grass. You know what I mean? Smoke some grass. Yeah, this moon is goddamn beautiful. I got tickets to the show. That's up, AW. Appreciate that. Yeah, get y'all tickets to my show, April 29th, Comedy Chateau. Yeah, what's up? You know what I mean? We got to know that we're cosmic beings. We're universal. We're star seeds. We're universal beings. And it was something else I was thinking about in that chat room earlier. I mean, not chat room, in that Twitter space with Eve earlier. That her pygmy got a dope ass podcast. And Hell yeah, I still go on my walks. I just don't be posting everything like that. Hell yeah. I might be in Roy Canyon tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. We don't know. We'll see. Give away all my movements. But um, so it's just hell yeah, I'm a hippie. I'm a West Coast hippie. I'm a hippie like a motherfucker. I remember all the hippies were white people trying to act like they was Jimi Hendrix. Black people, we the hippies too. Part of the Funkadelic, those was hippies. Bootsy Collins, hippies, man. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm a hippie. I'm a nature nigga ass hippie. Silent Family Stone niggas hip. Hell yeah, I'm a California ass hippie. Like, mushroom trips, weed smoking, outside, moon, getting some of that moon energy right now. When I get up in the morning, I'll be getting some of that sun energy for at least an hour. Like when I be editing my YouTube clips, whenever I do like my reels and stuff like that, when I edit something for a reel, I'll be sitting in the sun and I'll just use CapCut and go in and get a video clip and edit some shit. I'll be doing that shit while I'm sitting in the sun, bruh. Even like when I'm done. And I like, and everything just moves so there, there's nothing on earth or nothing in the universe that's created to be oppressed. That's where we going with it. That's where I'm going with tonight's talk. There's nothing in the appreciate that quote. There's nothing in the there's nothing created in the universe that's created to be oppressed. Yeah, see, I don't know why it's buffering. I'm like literally sitting like 20 feet from my Wi-Fi. I don't know why the fuck it's buffering. Anyway, refresh your browser if it's buffering. Maybe because this message is getting a little bit too deep for these niggas tonight. That's probably what it is. Anyway, that's what we going tonight. We're talking about man, I lost my goddamn train of thought with this fucking buffering. God, lost my goddamn train of thought because y'all buffering my goddamn video. Um, what I was saying, what we know, we're is bigger than what we see, and that you are universal beings, and there's nothing in the universe that was created to be oppressed. So when you're dealing with issues like white supremacy, when we talk about reparations, when we talk about stuff like reparations, and you hear people say, "Oh, that's impossible. You're never going to get reparations." I said 10 years ago, you had niggas saying Obama president was 10 years ago, you had niggas saying, um, 10 years ago, you had niggas saying Jay Z, being accepted into the White House was reparations. 10 years ago, you had niggas saying we had the fact that so many players in the NBA and the NFL, that's reparations. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Now, 10 years later, because we decided around 2015, 2016 to focus on reparations, we're on the cusp of it. And I do say the cusp because I read that shit in the cards. There's going to be some payments getting handed out in some way. Book that. But y'all see how it just took us to make a decision and go for it? Well, tell it ain't no system universe created to be oppressed. If you believe that, Go believe it. Don't argue with me. But that's my belief. That's just what I see, and I base my point of view off observing how nature operates and how nature works. You know what I mean? What's up, Deja? What's up, Smoke Splitter? Jeff Smith. What's up, Bismarck? Fucked up teeth. Um, but I base my point of view and my takeaway in life and how I see life off just how I see nature. I don't see anything in nature that stops the grass from growing. Nature hasn't created that. If something that is stopping grass from growing, it's not of nature. I don't see anything oppressing trees from extending their branches. I don't see anything that stops the wind from moving. I don't know of anything that stops the sun from shining or the moon from shining. I don't know of anything now. If I'm wrong, stop me. I don't know of anything oppressing ants from building colonies or lions and tigers and bears from creating families. Now there are certain things in nature that you do see. There are predators and prey, but even predators can't oppress prey. Prey still got to get caught slipping. If you look at the lion don't go after the strong gazelle. The lion waits for the old one, the young one, the weak one. The lion don't oppress the gazelle or the alligator or we look at the food chain and sharks. Nothing oppresses nothing. Now you have certain animals that may hold a superior hunting position over another. But so that's conflict is natural, you know, just like trees face the threat of forest fires, trees face the threat of flooding, you know, face the threat of rainwater, and water breaking them down, breaking the components down over millions of years and sands into the ocean and recycles it. Natural to have, enemies, but, but nothing oppresses nothing, and everything works for the greater good. And even with enemies, and you're dealing with the tiger that's hunting the whatever that tiger or that lion or that alligator kills, it consumes in order for its life to go on, and its waste goes back into the earth and creates another form of life. So yes, there's dangers when the trees catch on fire. When we're dealing with, like, I was driving through Ojai about a year ago, my wife and I. And, Ojai is an area about hour and a half, hour north of LA, northwest of LA. And it's a valley. It's a very, beautiful scenic place. But if you're a nature person like 2018, 2000 was burned to a crisp during the fire. You watch the news and pay attention to me, guys. I'm sure, and I haven't lost my point. When you watch the news and you saw the fire maps destroyed, my wife and I were watching the news, and it was kind of like a nigga almost shed a thug tear because the wife and I love going up to Ojai to pick up our wine and just kind of spend the day. It's away, even though it's only an hour, a little over an hour outside of LA, but it feels like I'm in another part of the world. I am a hippie city, but at the same time, country ass nigga. City and being in the country and just being in that open up everything was. It was very sad to see. and it looked like everything was lost. And then we started the next year when the fire was over with. We driving through. You see everything ain't burnt, and we drove through Ohio about 6, 7 months ago, almost a year, not even a whole year, about 6, 7 months ago. Back in like November, we went to Ohio, and all that we saw that looked burnt on the news, everything that looked lost, still there. A lot of the trees didn't get burned down. Now they got charred. The leaves got burnt off. They got charred, but the trees are still living because the roots are strong. And the leaves and everything that got burned off went back into the soil. The trees that were already dead burned and went back into the soil. And what that did was it enriched the soil, made the soil stronger. And so now when I was driving through Ojai, it was looking beautiful. And what looked like all was lost 4 years ago, when we went through a drive 6, 7 months ago, turned into some of the most beautiful scenery that I've seen in a long time. You know what I mean? So challenges burn off what needs to be burned off. But if you're strong, whatever's burned off in that challenge is going to fall to your soil underneath you, and it's going to enrich the soil that your roots feed from. You dig what I'm saying? So when you observe how nature works, you see that challenges only make you stronger. And at the same time, it ain't a motherfucking thing on this earth that's created, or this universe that's created to be oppressed. The fire don't oppress the forest. It just come through every now and then, burn the shit down so it can renew itself. The floods don't oppress the valleys. They rinse off the excess from the mountains and enrich the soil when they flood. Challenges are temporary. The only permanent challenge that exists in life is me whooping Larry Goodwell's ass. Like that's a challenge for Larry that he'll never overcome. And for me, it's just a natural, easy win. You dig what I'm saying? That's the only permanent challenge on earth is Larry can never beat me in a fight. But and for me, that's not a challenge. It's just it's just me having a little bit of fun. But outside of that, there are no permanent challenges. Challenges are just temporary, and we got to realize that. And when you step back and just observe nature and just look around, even if you live in the city, I live in the city. I live off a main street. Shit, you hear that shit in the background? You can still see it in the city. We got trees, we got grass. There's no such thing as permanent oppression. There's no human being. The oppression challenge, it's a chance to burn shit off. We're the old people. We're the original people on this planet. And when you look at the time from slavery to Jim Crow to now, and you put that timeline, the grander timeline for all of them, no goddamn, it really ain't been that bad. 250 years, 350 years, really? That ain't shit. Do you like look at nature right now? Like our tourists in the sky right there. But if you look in the western sky, you'll see Sirius 4 light years away. But if you look to the right of Sirius, you'll see In the Orion constellation, you see the belt of Orion, those three stars. All of them are 1,100. I think one is 1,100 light years away, the other 1,300 light years away. Meaning the light that you're seeing when you look at the belt of Orion was sent to you 1,300 years ago. 1,300 years ago, the Moors were bringing music and culture to Spain. When you look at Sirius, when you look at the Sirius star only 4 light years away, you're looking at a time that Donald Trump was still president. When you look at that light, when you look at the light that's being sent, that's that red star, the red giant that you see in the Orion constellation. That's 682 light years away. That means the light that's being sent to you came from a time that you were on this very land living in peace. Our oppression ain't been that long. Just look at the stars, bruh. For real, for real. Like, I was in Northern California 4 years ago, up there near, y'all know the whole Bohemian Grove. Yeah, about that? The whole matter of fact, when I was up there, I didn't. If I knew I was near the Bohemian Grove, I would have walked over there. I didn't even know I was near Bohemian Grove until like after I left. But a place called Gruenville, California. And when you go up there, it's up it's about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Um, and up there in Gruenville, that's where if y'all press number one, if you ever drink like Corbel wine, Corbel champagne, that Corbel, that cheap ass champagne that everybody like, but that's actually pretty good. When I went to their winery, they have some way better champagne than what they sell in the stores. But it's up there near what they make, what the vineyard is for the Corbel winery, where all Corbel champagne is shipped to you guys around the world. My wife went on up there for vacation, and we went to the Corbel winery. And then when we left the winery, nice and buzzed, we went on a nature walk. And on that nature walk, I was walking through the trees. You know, they had those huge trees. And where the trees are, they had these plaques telling you how old these trees are. And there were some trees that were like 900 years old. Some trees were like 1,400 years old. And I was just thinking, like, yo, shit, I'm standing next to a tree that was around before the Moors conquered Spain. I'm standing next to a tree that was here when, like, the California's Caliphans were still here. I'm sitting next to a tree that has been around longer. And I saw this other tree that was like 1,500 years old. I was like, this tree is older than Islam. Not Islam. Islam's been around for a long time. Older than the current form of being like the Muslim, the Islam, the Islamic faith, the whole being a Muslim. What was that? What time was Muhammad? 16? Like, Muhammad was during the 600s, the 7th century. So I was literally touching a tree that was older than the Quran. And a religion that's oppressed is older than that tree was 1,000 years older than the King James Bible. Think about that. The same King James Bible that's killed tens of hundreds of millions of people, billions of people, honestly, probably, over as long as that time has been going around. The same King James Bible and these holy wars that has been fought over the last 1,600 years, 1,400 years. I'm touching a tree that's older than all that shit. What's up, Eve? I've been talking about you this whole goddamn show. You just now coming up in here. This whole show is based off of what we talked about on your Twitter space earlier. And I've already shouted out your Pick Me podcast. So that's Eve. Eve just happened to come in. We was talking about you earlier. Because this whole train of thought came from your podcast. Because you had said something in your podcast that I forgot to address. And I'm kind of addressing it right now. And, well, anyway, nature, this is nature. And that tree I was standing next to was older, 1,000 years older than the King James Bible. Think about that. What's up, Netta J? But think about that. And so we'll be dealing with white supremacy and dealing with this shit, and we'll be thinking it's too much. Or we'll listen to other black people say, you can't get reparations. They never gonna let that happen. How can you tell me something's never gonna happen when just a couple of years ago, I was standing next to a tree that was here 1,000 years before the King James Bible was ever put together that they used to oppress our people. That tree I was standing next to, these motherfuckers was walking around on all goddamn four legs. The Roman Empire had just collapsed. The Vandals and the Visigoths are going all throughout Europe. The Anglo-Saxons, the Franks, the Huns. These same people that we're saying are never going to give us anything. These were the motherfucking Germanic people of Europe that this tree I'm standing next to, these motherfuckers was eating their own mama because there wasn't enough food. And you gonna tell me we can't defeat that? It doesn't make sense, do it, when you look at it from a bigger picture, does it? It doesn't make sense that we can't defeat a system that was created by people who this tree I'm standing next to, when this tree was born, these people were literally eating Aunt Carolyn for lunch because there was no food. And the time that they oppressed us, let's think about this shit from another holistic point of view. Let's go a little bit deeper on this. It took longer for the European to get from Jamestown to Oregon and conquer California, or from Oregon to California, from Jamestown 1619 to the conquest of the Sequoia region of California, which was a conquest that was done by the Black Buffalo Soldiers and General Allensworth. They weren't even the ones that could even win the conquest. But it wasn't until the Sequoias were settled in the 1880s that the United States had full control from East Coast to West Coast. Let's do some math. What's 18? Let's go. I don't know my exact, but tentatively 1880. It was a little past 1880, but I'm gonna go with 1880. From 1880, subtract 1619 from 1880. What number do y'all come up with? I'm high right now, so I'm not doing no fucking math. I need my chat room to help me out. That's 260 some odd years, right? That's 260 some odd years, right? It took a little over 260 years for the Anglo-Saxon to really settle everything coast to coast. How old is America? 1776 to 2023. coming up on 150 years old, little under 150 years old. I'm sorry, 250 years old. Why am I doing this? There's been more time that there were still free peoples on this land than the Anglo-Saxon has had full control of this land. And you want to tell me that this shit's permanent, nigga? Are you fucking serious? No, nigga, no. That don't even make sense. But it only makes sense if you just spend every day focusing on your problems. That only makes sense if you spend every day worried about what white supremacy is doing next, looking at every newspaper article. You spend all of your conscious moments focused and thinking about the system and what it's doing to you and how it's hurting you and how it's affecting you. At that point, it can seem to be too much and it can get tiresome. And not to give any excuse to these coon ass niggas, but you can understand how people like Al Sharpton or Jesse. I don't think Al Sharpton ever had any pure intentions. That nigga. Why was he around James Brown when he was 15? Al Sharpton. That's my question. Anyway, people like Jesse Jackson may have entered with good intentions, but after a while, people get tired. People see things, and you can see how this system can break people when you always in the middle of it. It can break you. It's designed to do that. You got to take a step back and see things, the big picture, and understand more than just what's. Understand your enemy, but also understand your environment. Understanding your environment is as important as understanding your enemy and understanding your enemy's environment. You have to know if you're going to be facing. That's why the United States never really had a ground war in Russia or in certain places. The terrain is too bad. The United States understood Vietnam, the enemy, but the United States did not understand Vietnam, the terrain and the environment. And so, since the United States didn't consider the environment, the United States got their ass whooped in Vietnam. And even with the United States owning, quote unquote, this land, it's still never fully conquested. A lot of people, we saw an American Maroon, there were Maroons that were free the whole time that never were enslaved. They never went into them swamps. You know what I mean? So you got to disconnect. And then also you got to take time to celebrate. And also I was thanking Eve earlier. Eve, I don't know if you're still in here, but if you're still in here, man, Eve, can you put your Cash App if you're still in here? Can you put your Cash App in the chat? And I would love if y'all like donate to her, please. Um, but Eve had said something in the Twitter space earlier that when we were all in there about the holidays because she helped co-create New Black Media Appreciation Month, and she said something about like whether they're going to use August or April, and yeah, Eve, put your Cash App in there, please. And I would love if you motherfuckers put some money in hers. Like that would mean a lot to me if if I had at least 5 people put something in Eve's Cash App. That would mean a lot to me. I would hope 30 of you niggas do it, but if I could at least get 5 of you niggas to put something up in Eve's Cash App, you know what I mean? Because I appreciate what she does. You know what I mean? It ain't always about me. It's about the community. It's about everyone. And So, but E said something in her podcast earlier, and she was talking about why they chose April. And April, this is a month that a lot of white supremacists use. 420, Hitler's birthday. White supremacists in the month of April, they carry out a lot of their massacres and shit in April. Timothy McVeigh and all that shit. So she's like, you know what? Let's put Black Media Appreciation Month on top of that shit. Sorry, my bad. That time went over. That's my homeboy calling me. He trying to do a late night smoke session. I'm like, Brown, I'm doing my live, brother. Hopefully, if he that nigga know me. If he know me, he'll walk up. He'll drive up to my front and pull up and see my ass out on this porch. If you know me. Um. Anyway, yeah, the Pick Me podcast, $ the Pick Me podcast, the PIC podcast, all one word. That's Eve's Cash App. Please, it would mean a lot to me if y'all donate to her. But anyway, um, you know why that's so important to do that? Because this all ties in to the topic of this night's show, the seeing the big picture. Seeing the big picture, all of these so-called holidays that we celebrate, that's why I believe in, if we're gonna celebrate a holiday, use the motherfucking day. I'm not gonna celebrate. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna celebrate, but I don't want a holiday that's the day before, the day after Christmas. Hell no, I'm selling that shit on Christmas Day. You know why Christmas Day is such an important day? There's an energy behind Christmas Day. These white motherfuckers understood the energy behind things. And no, I'm not going to use a different day. I'm going to use the energy of that day. I'm just going to imprint what I want out of this day onto this day. That's what you do. You don't take another day. You don't celebrate Thanksgiving the next day. You celebrated that motherfucker. It's a reason why these holidays exist on the days they exist. Christmas exists on the 25th because it's a cosmic celebration of the rebirth of the sun. The sun reaches its lowest point on the horizon. The day is the shortest day of the year, December 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. On the 25th, the days start getting longer again. The sun starts coming back up. So that's the birth of the sun. That's why the 25th is the chosen day. So if we're going to celebrate something, celebrate it on that date because there's an energy, there's a cosmic energy behind the date. You don't put next to the shit, you put on the shit. Same reason why what? What is this coming Sunday, y'all? I must be really preaching because you niggas is not in the chat room typing shit, but y'all listening. I appreciate y'all for listening. But what's coming up on Sunday? Sunday is Easter Sunday. Why does Easter Sunday move every year? And what's the energy behind Easter? I'm glad you asked. What do we see today? A full moon. So you know what that means, right? What was March 20th? March 20th was the spring equinox. Easter Sunday is always the first full moon after the spring equinox. The first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. Spring equinox was March 20th. I think the full moon in March was like March 14th. So since the spring equinox is March 20th, tonight or last night was the full moon. So Easter is the following Sunday after the first. There's an energy behind that. You know what I mean? The same thing with uh what's that holiday? 4th of July. The 4th of July wasn't ratified till August 8th, 1776. The reason why July 4th is a chosen date is because July 4th is the date that our star Sirius, our mother star Sirius, that bitch in the sky, 4 light years away, that the Dogon say we're seeded from, and there are other modalities that were seeded from the Pleiadian star system. Other ones come from different stars, but that's another story. Well, the Dogon say we come from the Sirius star system, and the United States recognizes Sirius. That's why the United States has a red, white, and blue flag, because our star Sirius, when she's at the horizon, she shines red, white, and blue. That's why our flag is red, white, and blue. And July 4th is a chosen day for independence, because July 4th is a day that our mother star Sirius is in direct opposition to the sun. I'm sorry, directly behind the sun. So the reason why the 4th of July generally is like, you never see really clouds on the 4th of July and it's very clear, very bright, is because our mother star Sirius is directly behind the sun. And that's why that day is chosen. It's this energy vortex. There's an energy behind the power of a star that's only 4 light years away that we're seeded from, being directly behind our sun. So the energy of that day, the United States chose to capitalize on the energy of that day and not make August 8th the fourth Independence Day. We're going to change it to a cosmic story. So I said all that to say, when you create a holiday or you create something and it's centered around, there's an energy behind, like, if there's an energy behind putting your own stamp on what energies are out there. So if people want to create these white supremacists, they want to use April. April is the month Dr. King was killed in, and they want to create some kind of energy behind oppressing us. Let's use that energy instead of saying, "Man, them white people hate us. They just how you gonna create a goddamn holy month around the month Dr. King got killed? That's just so mean." Instead of doing some whole shit like that, just take the energy of what's out there and say, I'm gonna spend that shit and put it into something that I value. That's one thing these cracker ass white supremacists understood. These pagans, like, oh, we ain't gonna change the date. We gonna use this exact date that you was using, Halloween. You know what Halloween is of course you have the All Saints Day on the first, but energetically, cosmically, when you're looking at different spiritual modalities, they all agree around that time, October 31st, November 1st. That's the time between the veil. That's the time when the veil between the spiritual world and the physical world is the thinnest. So they notice over the millennia and over the centuries and times that, people can find dead ancestors that have gone, like they'll talk to them in their dreams and sleep around this time, and people you know people start to get to be more spiritually in tune, and so but a lot of your ancient spiritual systems will teach you that that time of year around Halloween, what we now call Halloween, that's the time between the spiritual world and the physical world. The veil between the two is the thinnest. So that's celebrated, and it's been celebrated different ways all throughout the world. So the Mexicans, they sleep next to their goddamn dead ancestors at the cemetery on Halloween, or some people call it All Saints Day. Some people celebrate. It's all kinds of different rules, but it's all based on the energy behind that time. And the energies behind a lot of these big holidays and stuff are centered around cosmic stories. You dig what I'm saying? So, so just know that. You know what I mean? Whatever is out there, if you want to celebrate something, And or like you see people that they talk about they don't celebrate Christmas, they don't celebrate this holiday, that holiday. That's fine. Do it, do it where however you think you need to do it. I'm not gonna tell you how to do shit. But for those of you with an open mind and an ear to listen, my personal opinion is just take what's there and flip it into your own shit. Just take what there and assign. Just take what's there and assign your own meaning to it. That's what you call power. That's true power. True power is taking what's there and assigning your own meaning to it. You stand on your square and you don't need nobody else's permission. True power is saying, this is my day that I'm taking for this reason. And fuck you if you got something to say about it. That's power, nigga. That's why on the 4th of July, you think I give a fuck about the the Revolutionary War, even though I have ancestors who fought in the Revolutionary War to free this country from England? Yes, I looked that shit up on Ancestry the other day. I had like 7 different ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War. But I ain't thinking about no goddamn Revolutionary War on the 4th of July. Nigga, the energy, just think, go back to the 4th of July. The energy of that day is, like, I don't care what, the summer's fun, but there ain't nothing funner than the 4th of July. It's just so much energy in the day. Think of like, chat room. I know y'all quiet and listening to me, but in my bullshit, press like the number one if you just, like, just think about the 4th of July and the energy. Isn't it always like some kind of extra special energy on that day? It kind of feels like a little more up. It's really tough to be sad on the 4th of July. Think about just am I bullshitting? If I'm bullshitting, let me know. But I'm just thinking about myself. I can't think of too many times I've had like a down and out sad day on the 4th of July. Even if I wasn't feeling the best, stepping outside, and it'd be like, even if I didn't go to a barbecue that day and I just stayed around the house, because it was a couple years. I remember back like 10 years ago, I was so goddamn broke. I just sat my ass right down here on my in my apartment on the 4th of July. I didn't go nowhere. 'Cause I didn't even want to see I was so goddamn depressed and broke. But I still felt good that day. I may not have gotten out like I usually would because I was in such a state of depression, but I still felt better just that day because it's an energy behind the day. And the energy is because of a cosmic story. The star closest, the brightest star in the sky, Sirius, she's still up there right now. Let me see if I can see her. And she is in direct alignment with our sun. Let me see, is she out there still? Yep, there she is. There, there she is. Uh, y'all couldn't see, but she's up there right there. When she's in direct alignment with our sun, it just brings another energy to it. So I use the energy of that day to make the love for my family bigger. You know what I mean? I use the energy to that day to throw a barbecue at my house so I can have friends and family around. And I'm gonna be drinking all day when I throw a barbecue here. Shit, hell, next 4th of July, I'm gonna be on mushrooms, nigga. Fuck yeah, I'm doing like a good microdose. Not a heavy trip, but a good solid microdose trip, maybe 5 gummies. Hell yeah. 4th of July, give me my barbecue, nigga. Give me my friends, give me my family, give me a whole lot of weed, and I'm about to have a good time that day. I'm not gonna, I'm a man, nigga. What the fuck I look like celebrate some shit because you told me to celebrate it. I'm taking the energy of this day and celebrate what the fuck I want to celebrate. That's power. Don't let these cheesy, corny motherfuckers tell you you gotta be angry and mean all day on these holidays. Use the energy of these days. for your own good. These white cracker motherfuckers didn't say, we're not going to use Christmas because Christmas is the time that these Negroes we stole this day from, that's their sanctified day to celebrate the rising. No, the crackers didn't say that. The crackers said, we're going to create this nigga named Jesus, and we're not going to tell these niggas why they really celebrate this day, and we're going to create our own meaning for this day, and we're going to force these niggas to celebrate it. Am I lying? Let's think about that shit for a second. Am I lying? Did these white people say, you know what? We gonna let them have Halloween. Halloween's a time that these black people use to connect and reconnect with the spiritual realm. That's a sacred time for these Negroes. That's a time that, because as black folks, our power is in our ancestors. So they didn't say that's a time these black folks who are so connected to their ancestors use to get closer access to their ancestors. They said, nah, fuck that shit. We gonna sell you some costumes and say, let's get some candy. They didn't say, oh, Easter, let's celebrate, you know, the rebirth. Celebrate the new year, the the rebirth, time where everything is fresh and new. Matter of fact, we're gonna change the beginning of the year from March 20th to January 1st, and then tell you March 20th is the Iranian New Year. No, motherfucker, that ain't the Iran. That's Earth's New Year. Iran is just on. They're just in lockstep with the New Year for the Northern Hemisphere, and then everything has opposites. So if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, the New Year for you in a lot of cultures is going to be September 21st, which is why Earth, Wind, and Fire created that song September. Deep shit. So you don't run from some shit. You take what's there and use it for your energy. You take what's there and you put it to your own use. You take what's there and you put it on your own, celebrate it for your own use. That's what you do. That's power. That's power. You don't run from none of this shit. Face this shit head on. Man, my neighborhood is changing like a motherfucker, boy. Shit, but a white person walking down my block. Mm-mm-mm. White folks walking down my block these days. Ain't that a bitch? Anyway, that's what you do. That's power. And you look at the big picture. We got this. We got this. Just keep pushing. Nothing in nature was, nothing created in nature is created to be oppressed. Oppression is actually anti-nature. It's against nature, not natural. So, question. Let's now, quick quiz, chat room. What does nature do to anything that comes in its environment that's unnatural? What does nature do? Gets rid of it. The cold comes into your body, your blood cells fight that cold up out of there. You may get a little bit sick, you might get a fever, but nature's getting that shit up out of there. If a fish goes on the water, onto land, nature's gonna consume it degrade it down, feed the plants, feed the grass, and get rid of it. When things are out of place in nature, nature gets rid of it. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that we do like the previous generations and be oblivious to white supremacy. Hell no. How does nature get rid of things? Nature gets rid of things by focusing on them. I don't know about y'all, but like I spent years playing a lot of basketball. And what happens when you injure a part of your body with a sports injury? You touch it, it gets hot. That's how I knew why my knee was fucked up. When I was playing basketball, I was 350 goddamn pounds, but I would play ball 4 or 5 days a week. This is back in my 20s. But I progressively, my knee was torn. I was playing basketball on a torn knee for over a year. I didn't know it was torn. I knew it was sore. I didn't know it was torn until I went and got the MRI after the whole inside of my knee turned purple from a blood vessel busting inside that motherfucker. And that's how I knew. But before I even knew I was torn, my girlfriend, my wife now and girlfriend at the time, she used to rub my knee. And every time I hooped, I would always have her rub my knee afterwards. And it would always be so hot, extremely hot, extremely hot compared to everything else around in the area. If you have a tight muscle on your body, you can feel the heat. So what does nature do to things that are a threat? It brings the motherfucking heat. And it focuses the heat on the injury until the injury is healed. So the reason why cancer kills is because cancer finds a way to use the body against itself, and it hides for a long time, and it does a lot of its work. And if you don't catch it in time, you know what I mean? It got you. The things that can get you is the shit that can hide and kind of just have you work against yourself. But when nature wins when it brings the heat to the environment that's harmed. What happens when Earth gets too shaggy? When there's a whole bunch of foliage around and dead trees? That forest fire is coming, bringing the heat. So in this unnatural system that we're dealing with this unnatural oppression, if we're going to focus and approach this like nature, we got to focus on it and bring the heat, give it all of our attention. Not all of our attention, give it our attention. And that's what we're doing. And in giving it our attention, we're on the cusp of reparations. And be assured, reparations is not the end goal. Reparations is the start. Reparations ain't the end goal. Reparations is the start. Right? So that's what you do. But if you want to keep the fight going on and sustain it as long as possible, you got to take time to breathe. You got to pull back. And how I pull back, sometimes just stepping outside in nature and looking at the stars and looking at nature and allow nature to sit back and teach you. Relax and allow nature to teach you. Just watch her do her thing. Watch her, watch Mother Nature do her motherfucking thing. Watch. Just watch. It's there. It's all around us. Everywhere we see. We're made out of the same iron, diamond, carbon, water, oxygen, it's everything else in nature. We share we share 90%. We share 92% of our DNA with trees. You know what I mean? Over 90% of the DNA we have in our body is shared with the trees. If trees can't be oppressed. If trees can't be oppressed, then how come we can? You dig? So, have you ever seen a ghost? Nah, I can't say I've seen a ghost per se. I can see people's aura and spirit. I can see what kind of spirits on somebody. I can see spirits. Like I can look at somebody sometimes, and I can sometimes see when they're being hosted on by a spiritual being that's not them. I can see that, but I can read that in your cards too. Like when I do card readings, man, I can go right into your ego. Sometimes I did a card reading like last week. I say, yeah, I say, you actually kind of spiritual vampire sucking all your energy right now. There's a spiritual thing going on with you. And I was able to read her cards. And then when I pulled her cards and I saw Eight of Spades came up. And Eight of Spades is one of those cards that deals with a lot of uncertainty. And I saw the uncertainty. And then I saw, uh, then when I saw that Nine of Spades, then another card came out, was like a Nine of Spades. I think it was Nine of Spades that came out. Yeah, it was Nine of Spades. And Nine of Spades is that could be very tricky when it comes to energy and shit like that. And just something channeled through me. I was like, ooh, you got a whole spiritual thing going on that's hosting on you. And then I went back and I was like, something happened when you were seven. And I mentioned, I forgot what it was because I better speak. I forgot what I said. But whatever I said happened when she was seven, it happened exactly how I said it. And I was able to show her like where this whole spiritual host thing is going and where it's gotten her. And I was burden out different times in her life, and she was like, "Yes, yes, yes." But I said, "I say, yeah, you can see spirit. If you know how to tap in, if you know what you're looking for, you can see if somebody has some kind of spirit on them. You can see. I can't say you. I can see that fairly easily. You warm to 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. is your card for the previous day. Your card is whatever day you were born. You know, you gotta take it at the time, no, because what's 6 a.m. where I am is 6 p.m. somewhere else. You know what I mean? So you know, you born in L.A. at 12:01 a.m. On June 18th, and shit, you a queen of clubs. Queen of clubs day. It don't matter if you were 1 minute in or in smacking dab in the middle of the day. Now now the time of day and where you're born is going to affect how you play your card. It's going to affect the environment of your card. You know, what's your rising sign? What's your moon sign? All that stuff plays into the how your card plays out. Your human design, what position were, and it's not just your sun sign. It's where was your Jupiter? Where was your Mars? Where was the North Node? Where was the South Node? Where were all of these astrological positions at the time of your birth, at the placement of your birth? Because if you were born in L.A., you're going to have a different grid than somebody born in New York. Same day. There's going to be a slight difference in the placements. So all of that stuff plays a part in how you play your cards. Uh, Yeah, so they say niggas born at 3 a.m. in the morning are crazy. I have crazy. That's probably true. 3 a.m. again. Speaking of time, 3 a.m. is a time between 2 and 4 a.m. But really at 3, that's the time the spiritual veil is open the most. That's what like oftentimes like if I'm doing like a spiritual mushroom trip, sometimes I won't even take the mushrooms like 11 o'clock at night because I want to be up and alert and spiritually tapped in at 3 a.m. to get messages from what's going on in the universe. I told you, I told the story plenty of times before. My whole Black American music family tree that I got, that came on a spiritual mushroom trip. I was trying to figure out what next. I was kind of mentally and creatively blocked. I didn't have nothing coming my way. Man, I did like a late night mushroom trip around 2, 3 a.m. I got a vision for my Black American music family tree and how it was gonna look. Nigga, that idea came about 3 in the morning on a mushroom trip. Nigga went to bed, woke up the next morning, I did 90% of that tree in one day, just off memory. And of course, I bought books to make sure I was right. And I already had a lot of books. Watched some documentaries just to make sure the evolution of the music was right. But 90% of the genres you see on my family tree, I did that shit in one day. So just all off memory. All of that came out of a mushroom trip at 3 a.m. Yeah. You said you're waking up at 11, 12 in the morning. Well, 11, 12 because 11, 11. Well, it looks as if you're getting if the 11s. Those ones represent pathways and doors. So my conclusion, whenever I see 11, 12, that's something telling you to take the left path, Frank Green, and left path. And this is just what I'm interpreting for me at 11, 12. Because I've run across 11, 12, and for me, that was always telling me to take the left path because that's where the opening is. And left path is the unconventional path. That's the path of what we're talking about right now. Cardiology, that's definitely left path science. Um, Left path modalities, the unconventional. Left path is the unconventional. Left path is the non-traditional. Left path is what people in the past call pseudo or whatever. So if you keep seeing 11, 12, it's something in your spirit telling you to take the left path, the unconventional route, the route of what people may call uncertainty, but it's the route that your spirit has you on. Because the left path is all about following that inner guidance. The right path is about following what you know in your head. The left path is about following that inner guidance. So that's probably what you get. You say you a 10 of diamonds? 10 of diamonds is a celebrity card. That's a marketing card too. If you KL31, if you're a 10 of diamonds, getting the word out is easy. It's something that you have a natural talent at. 10 of diamonds when it wants to be, it can be a celebrity. Um, it, 10 of diamonds also it looks rich. It can be rich, but the struggle of the 10 of diamonds is maintaining the money because 10 of diamonds gives big money, but it spends big money too. 10 of diamonds be having a fuck ton of expenses. Y'all are making a lot of money, but y'all spend a lot too. Yeah, 10 of diamonds, boy. It's also a good business card though. But 10 of diamonds is man, like if I'm reading a business and a 10 of diamonds comes up in your yearly spread, that's telling you when and where to market. That is a marketing card. Abe, you're 8 of hearts. 8 of hearts. That's that means you're a social charmer. You somebody that's a playboy card. 8 of hearts. 8 of hearts can either be full of shit and be very deceptive, full of shit. Because Eight of Hearts convince people because they have a lot of charisma. You can either be full of shit, or you can use that charisma to charm people to get what you want in a positive, constructive way. But Eight of Hearts can go either way. Just make sure as an Eight of Hearts you're honest about your intentions. But definitely use your charisma, Eight of Hearts people. Just be honest about your intentions. Because if an Eight of Hearts person is deceptive about their intentions, you can really fuck people up. Because people believe you if you're an Eight of Hearts. People believe you. So, but use that charisma. You're a Jack of Diamonds. And that means it took you a long time, Derek. Well, you're a woman, Derek. If you're a woman, you probably got matured up and got, really got your shit together in your 30s. If you're a Jack of Diamonds dude, you didn't get your shit together until you got into your 40s. If you're Jack of Diamonds, you probably have a young look, a youthful look, or a youthful energy about you. And but you can get real petty. You can play too much. Jack of Diamonds people play too much. Like when they focus and actually go through and do what they're supposed to do, Jack of Diamonds is gonna win every time. Jack of Diamonds is gonna win every time. But the hardest thing for Jack of Diamonds to do all the time is focus on some shit. Cause y'all be hella immature, and y'all will get distracted with the most petty shit. Yeah, you a big kid, yeah. I was gonna say yeah, Jack of Diamonds. I'm saying I know you're a big kid. Jack of Diamonds is always gonna have fun, and always it maintains some sort of youthful look about them. Five of Diamonds means you goddamn near. I won't say bipolar, but Five of Diamonds you wishy washy, and you're very uncertain, especially with what you want to do next. And that uncertainty is your biggest challenge. And but behind that challenge as a Five of Diamonds, when you focus, you actually it's harder to focus for a Five of Diamonds than it is for a Jack of Diamonds. Jack of Diamonds is just silly. Five of Diamonds is really like going through some strong mental warfare. Like fuck. But when you focus Five of Diamonds, people, you're very dynamic. Hey, for reading, go to my website, breakthroughcards.com, and hit book now, breakthroughcards.com. Get my rates now because I still haven't got my new booking page. But when my new booking page goes up, then rates are going up. With everyone who's booking me now at my current rate, I have all you guys sort of like cataloged. So, I'm definitely going to, when my rates go up, I'll definitely, you know, with some of my stuff, honor, hit me up. But the rates about to go up. Get one now. Why they have to, I'm going to honor today's price now. Because I was going to change the rates April 1st, but I'm like, nah, I'll wait. My new site is all the way up. You say you guys have a reason to focus or a beat or rhythm? Yeah. Well, use it. You do need a beat or a rhythm. Well, if that's what you need, use it. I'm going to start my reading class either mid May or mid June. Let me know, Shamari, because I was thinking about like, cause I want to do it on Sundays. 2 hour class, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time, or maybe 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. 'Cause I know some of y'all on the East Coast. I'm gonna do it on Sundays. It's gonna be a 6 week class. It's going to be what's up, Amir Lester? I saw you up in the Bourbon X chat room out here talking that same shit. But my reading class is I'm gonna start signups really soon. I'm only gonna take 15 people for my first reading class. It's a 6 week class. I'm only gonna take 15 people because I want to give like personal time to everybody. The class is gonna be for 550. But shit, when you consider one reading is 200, you can read yourself, and it's gonna be 6 weeks. I will have an early bird discount, but I'm only taking 15 people. All right, 15, 15, 15. No more than 15, because I want to, I want to have a personal Like I'm gonna give everyone personal attention when they have questions and shit like that. Past 15 people, I can't do it. I might limit it to 10. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm really thinking about limiting it to 10 people. I'm only saying 15, but it might be a 10 person max for that class. You said May? Okay, I'll do it in May. I'm only gonna do like I'm thinking about capping it at 10 because like when y'all got questions and shit, I don't want to be over here, you know, like taking 2 weeks to respond or. Cause I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't trying to be overloaded. I think I'm gonna do it at 10 people instead of 15. And in that 6 week class, we're gonna go over the meaning of every card. But I'm not gonna spend too much time telling you the meaning of every card because there's books for that. I'm gonna really get into the nitty gritty of how to triangulate the cards and read them into a story. You get 13 cards. What is that? How do those 13 cards play out over the progression of your life? And I'm gonna help you read that. I think I'm gonna bring on an astrologer. I'm gonna hit up Astro D, see if she would like to come on to help, like do one of the classes, help me out. Well, it really breaks because each card you have 13 cards, and you have a card of each planet. And then I might wait and bring her around and do a different class on that. For the general class, I might not bring her on that. But we're gonna go into what each planet means and how each planet affects every card and how to interpret that and what that means for me. Damn, this is a horrible ass motorcycle right there. That's the worst motherfucking muffler ever. I usually like the motorcycle mufflers. That muffler was trash. God damn. Shit. I built up cards in the bathroom, loud pipe BS cars around my neighborhood, ruining my neighborhood. Fool. Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, I think I might definitely. My hard line is 15. I'm thinking about capping the class at 10, but this is no way in hell I'm going past 15 people because if y'all pay me, I want to give personal attention to everybody that enrolls in the class. You know what I mean? And so the classes are going to be 2 hours, basically like an hour and 15 minutes of instruction from me, and then like 45 minutes of questions for you from you, or I might do like an hour and a half of instruction, and then have like another day where we have a Q and A. Or the classmate, I don't know, but they're gonna be 2 hours at least 2 hours. They may be longer, but I like to respect people's time. 2 hour long classes, 6 classes with um, personal interaction. So yeah, I'm not. I mean, I like teaching, man. I don't hold on to information. I want to pass this shit around, man. I want all you niggas to know how to read cards. This is our science. I want all you now. Plus, that shit do be cool as fuck when you go somewhere and people are playing cards. And then when your cousins are playing cards, you start reading their asses off them cards. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, that should be fun. I'm looking forward to Saturday. Saturday, I'm be with my wife's family. My wife's family, once they found out I read cards, man, then they don't even shit. The last couple parties we've been to, we didn't even play spades. Them niggas just pulled the cards out. It was like Dwan here. I be reading people. I also do like uh, cartomancy readings where I just basically shuffle the deck and then you ask a question and pull a card, and when that card come out, I'll tell you exactly what the answer to your question is. That should be I be doing that at parties. People be like, "Yo, how'd you do that?" I was at this one shindig that I was doing. I was at this one shindig and I did that. People was I was shuffling my cards, they're like, um, pull the card, and then one person was like, um, "Is my wife cheating on me?" I was like, don't, I said, "Brother, don't ask." He was joking around like, "Is my wife cheating on me?" I was like, "Bruh. I don't think you want to ask that question, so I'm not even gonna pull this card." Like, I'm like, I'll reshuffle this deck. Ask me a different question, like, unless you really want to know. And if you really want to know, um, and he was like, "No, I really want to know." All right, shuffle, man. Eight of Hearts came out, and I was like, he was like, "What's that mean?" I was like, "You got a lawyer? Or how important is it?" That nigga looked. I think the reason why he asked that question because something in him already knew. Because why else would you ask that question? Is my wife cheating on me? Eight of Hearts is a Playboy card. Eight of Hearts people, like Eight of Hearts people, King of Hearts people, King of Diamonds, those cards, Five of Hearts, man, they cheat like a motherfucker. Eight of Hearts is the card of cheating. So if you ask me if somebody you with is cheating, and I pull Eight of Hearts, yes, they are. Yes. Matter of fact, the only reason why you asked that fucking question is because you already kind of knew. I had another one. When they asked another question, like he was dating some chick, and this is a while ago. He was dating some chick. He was thinking about getting serious with her, and he asked me. He was like, "Is she the one? Is she the one? Is she someone I can marry?" And I pulled a Four of Hearts, and that shit was like Four of Hearts is like the best relationship card to have. And when that Four of Hearts came out, I was like, "Yeah, bro, she the one." And then when Four of Hearts came out, I was like, then I was able to break down to her. I said she brings you balance. I said she brings you emotional balance, and what she did is, I say you come from a relationship. I was like, your previous relationship was like very traumatic, and the trauma in that relationship stops you from like doing whatever it is that you want to do with her. And so when she came around, you pushed her off for a long time. She's always been there. You kind of know she was there, but you were afraid. And like now, you're ready to open your heart again, but you're not quite sure, and that's why you asked me that question: Is she the one? And she did. But I forgot what, because I be channeling, and then I was able to go through and just tell him different shit. He was like, "Yo, how'd you know that?" Cards, nigga. It's the cards, nigga. I be having fun at some of these parties sometimes, pulling cards out. Like my card reading skills become like the whole. I might one. That's what I might do one day. I might throw a card reading party. Hey, that's what I'm gonna do. If you're in LA, of course I got my comedy show coming up. But Me Wellness, my trainer Lachelle Mitchell, we do a sound bath on Sundays where she heals. We do a sound bath meditation. It's an hour. You lay there and she plays a sound bath and you meditate. Pretty soon we're gonna do something where we're gonna do a sound bath, and I'm also gonna do like a reading party to where I'm just gonna be sitting there and you can ask me questions. And I'm gonna sit there and we're gonna do like a meditation slash reading party. And my wife is gonna be there selling our crystals. Cause I have a whole crystal company I never tell you niggas about for some reason. Brown House Minerals, my wife's company. She sells crystals, and so we're gonna be doing that shit uh, sometime in the next couple months. I want to wait till it warms up, so y'all be on the lookout for that. For those of you who are in LA, we're gonna have like a mental health sort of healing thing. Sound bath, reading, shit like that. Hella hippie shit. Yeah, but y'all know me, I'm a hippie. So I'm a hippie. So that's what I do. Very unapologetic hippie. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta yeah, Frank Green. You gotta talk about everything. And I get it. People don't want to really talk about this kind of stuff. A lot of people think this kind of stuff is some fantasy shit, but but those same people that call this fantasy gonna turn around and play the lotto and think they really gonna win. So at the end of the day, it's all relative. So J and DC, motherfucker, Amir Lasser, my boy Amir be on one boy. Yeah, man. But that's when it comes down to it, man. We have to know that you have to know that you have it all. You know what I mean? You got to know that winning is the destiny, is the goal. Just focus in on the issue, and we'll root all the bullshit issues out. You know what I mean? So look at nature, tap into nature. Even when I redo my car readings, man, I tap in. And I'm a teacher. I'm gonna tell you right now, for people who want to take my car reading class, I'm gonna teach you in a formal way, but I can't teach you me. You're gonna have to find yourself when you get into reading cards. You're gonna have to find yourself. What I do, I can't teach in some ways because I know the formal stuff, but once I get into a certain groove, I tap into the wine. But all y'all have that same ability to tap into you. You just gotta find it. You know what I mean? Once you learn the basics, it's like music. You learn music, you learn the basics of music, you learn how to read music, you learn all that stuff. But once you learn the general rules of music, you forget all that shit. And that's where creation happens. Because when creation, and when I'm doing a card reading, it's creation. But what I can help you with is I can help you find that path to your inner self that's going to make it easier for you to tap into who that great person is and listen to that and cultivate that and develop that. I can't help you be that, but I can help you look in the direction of where that is. But it's on you to cultivate that, and it's on you to play those cards out. Here it says on an acid trip. I keep hearing about acid. I ain't. Oh no. My next thing I do outside of mushrooms is DMT. I'm doing some DMT this summer. I am doing some DMT this summer, and I might do that shit when I go out to Lake Tahoe. I'm thinking I'm gonna do some DMT when I'm up in Lake Tahoe later on this year. Did you ever hoop at John Burroughs on Sundays? I did a few times back in the day, back in the early 2000s. I didn't play there. I didn't really, because on Sundays I used to play the drums at church, so it was hard for me to really get out. And by the time I got to the gym, nigga, it was so far much of a wait, and I didn't really have no pool at John Burroughs like that because I didn't go up there regularly. So when I hooped on Sundays, I usually hooped at the places I had pool: Westchester Park, Marine Park, El Segundo Park, Venice Beach, sometimes Santa Monica College. On Sundays, since I was playing drums at church, I would go hoop at the places I had pool. But when I walk up, I knew I was gonna get picked up to play right away. Yeah. Yep, I got a 8 ball on my profile for my PlayStation. Yep. That's me. Yeah, James. I think I'm gonna do something. I might try that DMT when I'm up in Lake Tahoe. I heard that's the best 15 minutes of your life. I kind of got the reason why I ain't really fuck with no acid. I kind of got a thing. I don't really like processed. I don't really like shit that went through a factory. You know what I mean? Whatever, whatever hallucinogenics I take, I like them to be something that grows directly out the ground. Like me, weed and mushrooms. I said I've been saying I'm gonna do DMT for 2 years. I still ain't tried it. But weed and mushrooms comes out the earth natural. Yeah, positive influence. I generally don't fuck with anything artificial. Like if they had to go through a lab and they got pushed out through a machine. If we went through a lab and got pushed out through a machine, I probably don't want it. Yeah, man. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, cardiology class is coming pretty soon. We about to get it in, and yeah, all right. Remember, take a step back, look at nature, let nature tell you what's possible and what's not. Nothing is created in nature to be oppressed. There's no natural oppression in earth. Only challenges. That's all it is. Nothing's permanent. But challenges will always exist. But challenges exist to burn off the bullshit, to feed the good shit, the new shit. All right. So remember this: there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. My name is DeWan. I appreciate y'all. I'm out.